Today I have something very special on my bench. This is a Harmony made in the USA. It is from 1965. I found that out because there is a stamp on the inside of it here that's very faded. This was in a backyard shed of a guy who I went to pick up a completely different instrument from. And he purchases storage units, and so he had all kinds of stuff that he hadn't listed yet. And in conversation with him, I found out that he had more than just what I was purchasing. So we went back to the shed to find out what he had. This caught my eye. We were originally going back to the shed to find an electric guitar. It was a Squire that he had. And, I told him that I fix up cheap budget guitars like Squires all the time to make them playable. And, we had a conversation because he was like, yeah, man, I never understood why, but now that you're talking, I'm getting it. He's like, I never understood, like, why my guitars never played like a expensive Telly or a Strat or a Les Paul that I pick up, and those just play like butter. And I had to explain that it all comes down to after all the machines are done doing their work and the whole thing is assembled, it comes down to the tech who puts the hand labor in to get it playable and intonated and everything else. And that with cheap guitars, they can't spend the time and labor on it, because then it wouldn't be a budget guitar anymore. Their profit for margin, time is money, so they have to pump them out fast, and the more time you spend on something, that holds up production. So we went back to look at a Squire that he had in his shed, and his shed was full of all kinds of stuff, and he had a pile of acoustics just in the corner. This thing was actually a lot more dusty than you see it now. I hand wiped a whole lot of dust off of it, but I saw Harmony. I'm like, hey man, are you selling those? And he's like, yeah, if you see anything, go ahead, pick it up, let me know. And I was like, I'm interested in this, and I gave him, I'm honest. I don't try to swindle a guy like, oh, this beat up old guitar, it's not worth anything. So I told him like the kind of history behind Harmony, and what the whole history is of like catalog guitars back in the day, and like things like this would have been like a budget guitar that like a blues player would have got, if it was like the 1930s. And this was not anything super special, but it is special to me. This is a 1965. It no longer has the pick guard. There is a hole here and a hole on the side where a pick guard would have covered an area. I am almost certain that this bridge is not original. It is made out of some kind of clear acrylic material. It has been like notched for the strings, and it has the same clear material. It has a matching nut that they unfortunately glued in. So I'm gonna clean it up and see what I can do just by cleaning it up, if I can get it in tune and get it playing. The top is separating from the body right here, you can see that, so if I wanted to glue that down, I'd have to, and I'm scared because the wood's really fragile, I'd have to like get it all lined up and clamp it in place. I might want to keep it in a room with a humidifier for a while before I do that. It does not have a truss rod that I can tell. So it's just a solid neck, no truss rod. Archtop, 1965. I just thought it was a really beautiful guitar, and if nothing else, it will be a wall hanger for me. But he cut me a deal. If I offered him 50, and he said he was thinking more along the lines of 80, and then he's like, you know what, I tell you what, 120 and the Squire Strat and This Is You, that's $60 for each. And I was like, all right, deal, let's do it, thank you. So I'm gonna get this thing cleaned up and see what I can do with it. I'm not gonna change the strings on it at first. I'm just gonna clean it up as best I can and try to retune the strings. I'm afraid that if I put new strings on it, maybe the tension would be different. I don't know what gauge strings these are. And there's also something cool about keeping the vintage strings on this thing. So we'll see. I got it cleaned up, and here we go. You can kind of see it's all nice and clean. This guitar, I tuned its original strings to E flat because I did not want to put the full tension of E standard on this guitar. It still has really high action, but that's how all these acoustic archtops were back in the day, because they weren't really, they weren't doing much up here. If they were just doing some kind of simple, basic melody. And they were playing high. They were playing with high strings back then. Most of the time they were doing their chords further up the neck. But it just smells like old wood. It might be just the polish that I put on it, but this is beautiful. I'm going to hang on to this thing forever. I've always wanted something like this that I could have as both a decoration and something that I can play. You know, I could try to adjust the action by taking this makeshift bridge down and kind of sanding it shorter to bring it down, but I think I'll just keep it how it is. I might make a few adjustments. The way that the nut is cut, there is a wide gap in between the D and the G string, so when you play an A, it seems a little unnatural. But whatever, it's quirky, you know. I just love this guitar and all the little cracking and etching that's probably from the nitrocellulose paint that they put on it. I think they call that checking. You can see all the little unique cracks. It has some beautiful wear back here on the neck and on the fretboard. You know, this thing's 1965, so all those years of someone playing it. I love this thing, so I'm really happy with it. I'm not going to really do much restoration to it. Keep it as it is. I might throw this in my room with my humidifier where my other acoustics are, and before I might try to bend this back in and glue the top back down on top of this. But as for now, it's just a little too dry and cracked, and I just don't want to risk it. So that's it. Made in the USA, Harmony. 1965 Archtop.